Hello everybody, hope that you are doing very well and welcome to today's cryptocurrency technical analysis, where of course we are jumping straight into the Bitcoin chart, going over the next support that we have to the downside, which honestly this one is absolutely crucial. We'll be covering that support in this video, and I will obviously cover this last move to the upside just so you can get the educational side of things, understand what went on, why we rejected where we did, and where we are coming down to next. So if that sounds good, absolutely smash that like button as hard as you can, and let's get into what we love, the technical analysis. So yesterday, obviously, we were talking about the support that we were bouncing off of. In my opinion, obviously, it wasn't a massive support level, but obviously, we could see the bounce was pretty big in the end. And what were we bouncing off of? Obviously, it was that daily naked point of control. And I have to shout him out because the modest Mike is too modest for himself, because he absolutely did nail it. Obviously, 2 days ago, while we were trading at about $50,000, he gave the level to the downside of 47,150, being that naked point of control. As soon as it hit yesterday, obviously 11 a.m. UK time, he did say to the team he has taken the long trade, and he was obviously looking up for 48,300 and then go from there, of course. Well, you did, to be honest, yesterday have Mike Confluence of taking the long, and also Younes with his lovely Elliott wave counts, obviously the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. As we all know, we've made 3 up and obviously now looking for 5 back down for the A, B, C. But both of them, to be fair, were both looking for the rise of the intraday to give us that move back to the upside. And obviously that is what happened. As we can see here, we put in our move to the downside. We have got our, we did get our retracement, and then a bam, straight back down. So yeah, shout out to Mike, shout out to Younes, who did correctly identify and long the 7150. And now I will cover here where we rejected from, because I think this is, this is quite important to cover here. And obviously, well, it's kind of obvious where we rejected from. It obviously was the CC. So we rejected from the CC Fibonacci retracement. And this is obviously the one taken from the overall high to the low at the time. Obviously, that top of the CC is coming in at $49,395. Just so you can visualize what that looked like, we pulled a fib, obviously, just so you can see it. It's from the absolute high to the low, obviously, that we had yesterday. And as we can see, this did come up into the CC and it did reject. And I will be honest with you here, this for me, when it was coming up to the CC, and I was making it very, I was pretty adamant, I am waiting to see how it progresses here. I was not aggressive on the short here, because I felt as if we could go through that CC level. And this is what I mean by trading the reaction, trading, what's actually happening within this. Okay, are we rejecting from it? Are we going to push through? And basically just trading not what you want, but actually trading what is happening. So I did not short this first touch of the CC, and I did not short the second touch of the CC high. Why? Because there was no rejection, obviously, at that top touch. The way that I personally approached this, obviously, we were coming into Eagle time at the top of this, which does add to a bit of a bearish confluence. Obviously, we put in our high at about 130, on the 130 candle. And then obviously we got our rejection. And for me, this was the confluence that we had for, okay, now obviously we do have to take this short position. It was rejecting from the CC, not shorting the top of it, but shorting after we had rejected, because then it had actually shown me we have actually rejected from the top of the CC. We have then lost that TPO point of control, and we have actually changed market structure. And not only that, we also then had a bearish CCV setup. So although I was cautiously approaching that short position, upon seeing a absolutely clear as day rejection with the CCV setup in play as well, you have to trade the charts. Again, I will stress always, it's not what we want, it's not what we say. We have to trade what is actually happening. And for me to not short that would be, I would simply not be trading the CCV setup that was given to me after rejecting really clearly from the top of the CC and then losing the TPO point of control. You just have to react to what's happening. Also, you lost this mini range point of control. So I will show you this really quickly. Also, you lost the mini range point of control. So for me, like wanting to go back to sleep, it's enough to, take the short position, have a stop above the invalidation, and Obviously, we can say pretty safely it's obviously worked out very well in the end. But yeah, that rejection really simply all came from that CC, in my opinion. And obviously, yeah, so we have made our way back down now. So hopefully that's talked you through why we got this rise yesterday. And obviously, shout out to Mike, shout out to Younes for that, because they nailed that one. But kind of like Younes was imagining, we put in 5, you then look for the retracement up for another wave back down. So if we envision this with the Elliott waves, you kind of are looking for this almost with your A, putting your A wave, putting your B, and then you are looking down for the C. And I'm going to cover where I personally believe we can look for this C. Before I get into where this C wave will be, I just want to really quickly remind you, and that is that we obviously do have the World Series of Trading going on right now. There is there's 1.5 days left to join the competition. So if you haven't already, go over. I'll leave the links in the description, or you can just come over to the Discord, all free, join the team. And yeah, currently ranked first of the English team. We need to beat Carl Moon and Crypto. Come on, we can do this. Join the team. Starts in 1.5 days. So yeah, just a quick reminder of that before we get back into the charts here. So yeah, World Series of Trading, 1.5 days, join the team, and let's absolutely crush that. So yeah, coming back, where are we looking for this C wave? Well, in my opinion, it would make sense to come back down to our range point of control. So this is the point of control of this whole range. So we could say that a sensible level of support, okay, would obviously be to come down to around here, and then we will obviously have put in our A, B. We'd have a really strong ABC type move. Obviously, this could be a 1, 2, 3. It's a little bit too early to tell. That's why we would have to base the reaction off of this little zone here. We obviously would have to base the reaction off of here. Are we finding great support, just like we did at the bottom of the A wave yesterday? If you see here. Obviously, Younes has his little box here, daily naked point of control on the 1618, on the 0.5. You have to base the reaction. Obviously, the reaction here was in the end pretty strong. So we would have to base the reaction off of here, off the point of control. Like, are we actually finding support here, or are we rejecting? Just like we had to see at the CC last night. Are we actually rejecting from this CC, which obviously was the case, or were we getting through it and flipping it into support, which obviously didn't happen? So the same here. We cannot really predict what's going to happen here. If we hit it, of course, there's always the possibility that we just go bam, straight up here. Of course, we have to acknowledge we're trading a game of probabilities. So we would have to base the reaction off of here. So you can see I have my alerts set, ready and waiting. So what will happen is, as we approach this level, as if we hit this level, I will be seeing basically, I'll come over to the order flow software and basically look for, are we seeing a sign of weakness? Usually if we see a sign of weakness and we are expecting just continuation to the downside, then obviously there's no long to be taken. But should we see nice absorption coming into this level, a lower term time frame reaction, then of course we can get into those original scalp long positions with a potential of a larger trade. But I think just like the reaction here, for me anyway, if you take an long here, it's an original scalp long, which obviously ends into a pretty decent day trade. But I would still envision you take your first take profit fairly quickly. There's just my opinion though. So yeah, that's the way that I would really be approaching this today. We have we obviously had that clear support yesterday, clear resistance off the CC. I think we have the most important support coming in at around, this, for the people that can't see this, so it's about 45,700. But you can look at this as a little bit of a box here. So that's obviously your clear, that's your clear as day support. Where we're bouncing off of right now, this isn't really massive support level in my opinion. Of course we're bouncing off of it, but this isn't a trade that I would take. So yeah, I'm happy to miss the long if we just bounce up from here. I'm not really that bothered. Personally, I am actually trading a lot altcoins quite a lot recently. So I was absolutely trading altcoins a lot yesterday. I'm still trading my altcoins today. So should I miss the Bitcoin long? Hey, I miss it. I'm not that bothered. I would prefer to trade only the highest probabilities, and if that missing a trade, then it means missing a trade. And if you understand that trading is about the consistency in the long term, we're not after making $1 million in a night. We're after, the long-term consistency, making that day on day on day on day on day. And you don't do that by taking, poor trades. You have to wait sometimes for the confirmation, you have to wait for the reaction, get in, and you're changing from a gambling type of trade. You're talking 80-90% probability. So yeah, that's what I would go on. Of course, if you want to see more, Victor actually is doing a live stream right now as we're speaking. So yeah, there's obviously we're pumping out the content. So there is a live stream from Victor going on right now, obviously inside of the Chart Champions group. Obviously, if you want the updates in the day from people such as Younes, Mike, etc., then they are doing their updates. Obviously, I'm doing my updates of when I foresee potential reactions. You've got another live stream today from Trading Assistant coming up. Yeah, I mean, there's so much content that you can use and learn from. So yeah, that's all obviously at chartchampions.com. If you want to learn about the order flow, all of that, we've got the education and then obviously the updates in the day. It's all on the website. Of course, I have to say no financial advice in this video. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not a financial advisor. So obviously, this video is just my opinions on how my outlook is on the market. So hope you have enjoyed this video. Nevertheless, thank you ever so much, and remember to absolutely, as always, smash the like. Thank you ever so much, everybody. Have a brilliant day. That's me signing out. Goodbye. Cheers.